Oh, what an old beauty. 1968. She's rough and ready to hit the road again. It's coming here for a roadworthy. Where do you start with a rough old girl like this? She's had a tickle of love while it's been here. It was running. It drove off the truck and we've driven it around the yard to move it, but nowhere near ready to go out on bitumen. But now we started underneath, rebuilt the axles, all bearings, what have you. New tail shaft, that one was all pretty ugly. Terrain tamer suspension kit throughout the whole thing. The terrain tamer tie rods up the front, and it's one of the products we use, terrain tamer. A lot of Japanese parts, all the bearings and stuff. So they went into the axles, and under the bonnet, it's got a 2F in it. It's got the 4-speed in it as well, which is not period correct, but I'm sure it makes it a bit faster on the road. No doubt a farmer's done whatever he's had to keep this one alive, and it's just come to us, needs a tickle. So we did electronic ignition, rebuilt the carby, consolidated wires and things like indicators, lights. They weren't working when they come in here, so to do a roadworthy on something so old, it's spent a little bit of time here, but it's pretty much ready to go. There's a couple of little things the boys are going to do to it to tick some boxes. I just had to go for a drive in it though. They're too much fun. This period, 1968, you'll notice a few things different from a lot of them that you see in our yard. I love the bonnet. It's a 2-piece bonnet with the chrome strip, very cool. You see the 2 round headlights on the front bib. They're aftermarket ones, but those holes were there from the 60s. This one's got a PDO winch. It's all in there, it's all functioning. So that is really cool. A homemade bar. You'll notice the indicators of the older ones as well. Just little things that went on back in the 60s and the early 70s. The windscreen wiper motor up the top, it's the single piece. Started in 65, so it's there in 68. The doors, and these old doors are pre-75. You see these in 1974 and back into the 60s. We had to do weather strips. They're old and perished, past roadworthy. You want to know that she seals right now. And there's a few things, alloy steps, fiberglass roof, that weren't there in its day. These are a different mirror. They're still the Toyota ones, but so there's a few little changes on this one. Obviously the rims, they weren't back in 68. But other than that, let's go and have a look inside. She's pretty unmolested. There's not much going on, but we always have a look anyway. Check it out. There is not much show and tell in here, but you can see what dash it had for back in the 60s, and the fuel tank underneath the seat inside the cab. This one's a plastic replacement tank. So I've never seen that, but it's designed for this car because it replicas the shape and the lines of the tank that was there. And it is hard to get fuel tanks now. I find what we're wrecking these days, we're at the bottom of the barrel, so there's a lot of rusty tanks out there and they're not necessarily available anymore. This particular one, it's had a few holes drilled into the dash, a gauge put in the dash, a whopping great big hole cut out of the ashtray, probably to fit a stereo. It has none of that at the moment. As I say, he's only just bought this, so he's gonna, he gets it on the road, he goes home, and then he's gonna start tinkering it to what he wants in here. And very blank canvas at the moment. A few little different things. The gear knobs, you can see they're definitely not Toyota. Someone's thrown them in there, but note the 3rd gear stick on the passenger side. That's your PDO. For those that don't know these old cruisers, that's to engage and disengage your PDO, which is driven off the transfer. And another just little things, an older steering wheel. This ignition switch back then, they were on the dash and not on the column. And I noticed someone's put the J07 dash in this, which is out of the diesel, but it had a lot older one where the indicators blinked on the outside of the cluster. Now they blink on the inside. Just little things, but overall that's pretty much it inside. I do notice it's got a rust-free floor, but somebody's done their own. It's not welded by a panel beater. Someone's patched it up, but it definitely ticks boxes. There's no holes in it, so rust-wise, she's pretty much ready to go. We'll have a look at here. So I know she's a bit rough and ready looking. It's early days. He's only just bought it. We're basically here doing mechanical only on it, and getting it ready to drive again. I've got to say that for a base or a blank canvas, the chassis is absolutely beautiful. There's minimal rust, it does need to be addressed, but it's just good to show, as rough and ready as it looks, it's just good to show and to see that another one is making its way out of the paddock and back onto the roads. It's being saved and not wrecked, and we just can't wreck them in any condition like this anymore. We've got to save these. 1968, welcome back to being registered.